Hi and welcome to Woody's Way. Today we're going to be looking at the Campmaster cook stove. There you go, Campmaster cook stove, and the Flash, Jetboil Flash. This one's a new acquisition. I purchased it not long ago. I have taken it out and given it a go so that I could review it for you guys and see whether it's worth the upgrade, what the upgrades are, and how it'll impact your time on the trail. So first of all, let's start with the Campmaster. I have a mesh bag that I use to keep all of this stuff in because it doesn't tend to fit all inside the system itself. So here we have the lid. The lid is just a plain black. It's got a little steam hole on top. You can see that this one's quite well used. We have the Jetboil stand. I did buy a Jetboil stand for this one. Works really well because it only fits on the propane. This one does use the large propane tank, which I really like. I guess this one, the Jetboil does too. But this larger canister doesn't actually fit inside the Jetboil, or inside the Flash anyway. So inside here we have the cooker, and you can see this one has an igniter. It's quite good, and a little knob here to turn the gas on and off. It's very difficult to get it regulated down to a low gas, but we'll have a look at that in a second. I'll light it in a moment. No, I won't. Yes, I will. There we go. So here we go. We've got the stand and the cooker. We've got a single dot on the side that lines up to be able to put that in and turn it. One thing that I do quite like about the Jetboil is the handle over just having the cozy. I find that the cozy, yes, your hand is insulated, you can pick it up, but when it gets hot, this is quite easy to pull away on the Jetboil, but I'll get to that in a minute. There's a little pocket here. I don't know what this is actually meant for, but I usually keep my spoon in it or my cutlery. It's actually quite good. I do find that this is a little bit loose in terms of a locking system to really securely lock the base or the cup to the burner itself. Now, I know this is probably not a fair test as this is an older Campmaster, but let's see how we go for lighting it. There we go, that's lit. And let's try and regulate that heat a little bit. I think that's about as low as I can get it without it turning off. So there you go, that was one more little click over and it had turned off. So even with an older igniter, this one's done pretty well. It has been used quite a lot. So the cup on the Campmaster is a 1 litre cup, which is a pretty good size. This one I also bought this thing so that you can put a pot on top. To be honest, this is a Jetboil accessory. This is the old Jetboil pot rest. I don't really like it at all. I don't think it's very good. And to be honest, I very rarely use a pot. Very rarely when I'm out hiking and that sort of stuff do I take, oh, there's a bit of powdered milk. Do I take food to cook like that. Usually I'm doing dehydrated meals, but I do like to be able to take it just in case I need to do something. But I find this is not very stable at all for having anything of any sort of weight on top of it. You'd want to have a really good handle on your pot or your pan, so that you could be in contact with it the entire time a pot or a pan that's not going to heat up. But overall, this the Campmaster was a $50 purchase from Kmart. A fantastic deal. I find it to be really good if you're doing, if you're cooking for more than, say, 2 people. If you're cooking for more than 2 people, I find this one to be quite a good size, being the litre cup. You can see, I don't know if we can turn it around. We may be able to see, yeah, see here it says 1 litre. But again, I do like the handle and how it pulls out. It's insulated. I find that you've got a really firm grip on it. But this is quite annoying, that it isn't one self-contained unit, even though it's advertised to be so. It's not. You do need to have a mesh bag, which I have somewhere, that holds the whole thing together in your bag. But does it do the job? 100%. Like I said, I've cooked hundreds of meals on this thing, or boiled 100 litres of water or more on this. It's a fantastic thing for $50. It was only recently that I decided to invest in the Jetboil Flash. If you haven't seen this before, as you cook, this turns orange to signify that the water is boiled. It's a cool little thing. Do you need it? Probably not. Is it okay? Yeah, look, it's okay. Now, this one comes with, it says it's a cup. I don't see myself using this as a cup. However, I do see myself using it. Let's see if we can get the right light on here. Inside here, there's a measurement for 1 cup and half cup, quarter cup and 3/4 cup. And on the other side, it's got it in milliliters. It's got a 250 and that's it. So this would be good if you're looking at how much water do I need for one of my backcountry meals or something like that. This would be quite good to make sure that you've put in the exact amount of water that you need to cook one of those meals. This is a great idea. It's also quite good at protecting the bottom of the Jetboil itself. But is it a necessity? I don't think so. But it's a good little extra to have. I think that the Campmaster actually did come with a plain orange cup for the bottom. I think I lost that within the first 6 minutes of owning it. Which goes with this, the camo color that I got. I didn't want to have the black. I feel like the black would just blend in if you're packing up at night or something like that. I think it could be very easy to accidentally leave the Jetboil behind, which goes for this. Like, to me, the camo color for this just seems like a bit of a silly idea. I'm going to be in the woods with this sort of thing. I'm going to be hiking. This is going to be around grass and on the floor. One thing that I don't want to have camo is my $170 cook stove, where I could potentially leave it behind. Like, and this is to the point where I've actually looked online for a different cozy for this. And if anyone can find where I can buy something brighter, maybe something like a blue or an orange or something like that, that I can use where I'm not going to accidentally leave this behind because it's camouflaged into the ground, please let me know in the comments. I would really like to have something of a different color. Also, what I talked about the cozy, first of all, let's have a quick look at the lid. So I have to take the lid off anyway. So there's a few different features here with the lid. You can see that it's got a strainer. Look, it's not particularly good, take a long time, but it's better than having nothing. The little spout, I found that this little spout is good for if you're going to drink directly from the unit itself. This is a good idea. And for pouring liquids into like your meal or something like that. It's going to stop a lot of water from jumping out all at once. And then in the middle, we've got the steam vent, which is pretty good. It's quite a good sturdy plastic, but it still has a nice feel to it. It's kind of rubbery yet stiff. I don't know what type of plastic it is. Maybe someone can see here there are 3 symbols on it that says that it's food grade, and 2 more that my glasses can't pick up like that says. But a really good lid, a really good accessory. Now, what I was saying about the cozy, going back to this, if I'm holding this just as is, you can see that there's a little bit of pull out here. If this has got 500 mils or 500 grams of water in it, I can simulate, it ends up more like that. I'm actually going to look at putting a cable tie around the top here and look, see if that works. I'm not sure how heat resistant it is. That could just be a really dumb idea, but I'm going to try it. I'm going to try and put one on here so that when it's got a bit of water in it, I'm not going to get this pull out, and I'm going to end up with a much sturdier handle, especially when I've got boiling water in here. It needs to be quite safe. But it does look pretty cool. Now, one of the differences for this compared to the Campmaster is that this is a fully self-contained unit if you use the right size gas bottle. So this is definitely smaller canister. However, I've never gone out on a hike and needed to use more than one of these. Often I'll use fires and things like that. But these will do, what does it say here? 24 boils. Maybe I've read that. No, it does. 24 boils. So that's quite a bit. That's going to last you a good trip, and you can easily carry 2 of them. Now, one of the reasons that I did change to Jetboil from Campmaster is that it does all fit into one self-contained unit. But the other reason is Jetboil have finally brought out an igniter. To me, it seems silly that I would use, I'd buy something so expensive and then have to carry a lighter to make it work and rely on a separate piece of technology when the Campmaster already had it. So this one is a simple turn and click to ignite, fairly simple, fairly easy. It's a good sized unit. This one's actually got this, it's like a silicone rubber around the bottom so that when it's hot, you've got somewhere that you can hold, that you can grip, where it's not going to burn your fingers, which is a good idea. This one, with the Campmaster, I actually had to buy this separately. So this came with the Jetboil, which I thought was great. And this fits, if we have a look here, this fits right on top of here, encapsulating the igniter, and has little cutouts for the burner here so that it has a minimum footprint while stored, which makes it that little bit more packable. So that is a really cool idea. You can see there it's got the shape of the burner. It does go in any rotation like that. I really like that. That's a cool little innovation that they've done there. This one I had to buy separately. So this is the pot stand. Let's get the other one and have a quick comparison. Oops. Sorry about the mess. If we have a look here, let's have a look. Very similar in terms of their footprint outwards. Yeah. Although this just seems a lot more stable. So this actually, if we fold it in a little bit, it should click in. There should be an audible click somewhere. Missed the audible click. But you can see by that, that's a lot more sturdy inside the actual unit itself. And I would feel a lot more comfortable using this one than this one. I would feel comfortable actually resting something on top of this, whereas the other one I would want to be in full contact all of the time, just because the Jetboil's not, and the Campmaster, they're not the stablest thing, and they really do need to be for their purpose. This one folds in a little bit. This one folds in a little bit, and this does, if we have a look here, we can see that there's a little bump here that is designed for the igniter. So that fits perfectly over the igniter. So when we put it away, it's all in one unit. So you've got your pot stand on that side, and you've got your stand on that side, and the whole thing fits in together, which is pretty clever. So let's quickly put this one together with, oops, whacking things around. There we've got the base. Now this one is a brand new igniter, so this should go pretty much first shot. Let's give it a crack. There you go, first shot, and that's lit. Let's see how we can go if we try and... You've got much more range in terms of that, like that's barely lit, of how much gas you can have. It's like using your stove at home, I guess. So that's pretty cool. And we can see here it is very similar to the stove at home. It's just a simple turn of the dial to get your heat preference, and it does show that from this point is where the heat will start. So there's a small portion here which is off, and then you've got high to low to off, which is pretty cool. Again, using the rubber core there to hold on to if it's a bit warm. And the stand, it's got little wobbly legs, I think just to make it a bit more, see how they're slightly curved, a bit more compact, bit of a different design to differentiate between the two. There we go. That's pretty cool. That's cool. I might just let that cool down a little bit more. So the Jetboil Flash though is slightly less capacity. So this one is an 800 mil. It does have a 500 mil line inside. I don't know whether you can see that there on the back. It has a 500 mil fill line. Even though it's 800 mils, I wouldn't put more than 500 mils in here, because when it boils, anyone who's used a Jetboil before, it has a really rapid boil. So it will bubble like crazy. So if you've filled it up all the way to the top and it starts boiling, you're going to end up with boiling water splashing over the top. Still only go to 500 with this. So that might be a factor that might impact you. Here we have a more defined dot on the side of the unit, and here we can see the entry point and the lock zone. So entry and lock, and that is well and truly on there. That's not going to come off unless you deliberately turn it and slide it off, which is pretty cool. So in terms of this, like, I really like it. Like I said, most of the time I only boiling water for dehydrated meals, but I think overall, I guess my final impression of this Jetboil is I'm really happy with it. I love that it all condenses down and packs up into one small unit. The thought that's gone into it, like for instance, just this piece here, where that is designed to go over the igniter so that you're not carrying 2 or 3 pieces of kit with you. That the fuel goes into and all covered up with the lid. That you do have a measuring cup with you. Look, it's a little perk that we wouldn't have had otherwise, but I really like it. And the fact that it clicks on and that it's going to protect it and give this potentially some extra time in my hiking kit is pretty good. I feel bad for this one, but for the price, so this was $170. This one was about $50. So for the use I've had out of this, it's more than made me the bang for buck, I guess, is definitely there. This I found is good if you're in a larger group and you're needing to cook multiple meals. This is a really good idea. It's really good if you're just starting out and you want something that is capable, and this is capable. It does have the igniter automatically on it, not like all Jetboil products don't have that. So I think that the igniter is a great idea. Obviously, always carry a lighter just in case, or matches just in case, but a really good idea. I didn't really like that I had to buy extra things for the Campmaster. However, I did still have to buy the pot stand for the Jetboil itself. But if you look here, that's quite a difference in size. And I was thinking before, let's have a quick look at this. I actually think that the Jetboil might even fit inside the Campmaster. And it does, so there's a little bit of wiggle room there. You can see, in terms of the footprint in your pack, this is a bit smaller. In terms of weight, look, there's not much to either of them. It basically comes down to the gas that you're carrying with you and how much gas you're carrying. But overall, I would say that the Jetboil, that the Campmaster is great, first of all. The Campmaster is fantastic and it's done really well for me over the years. However, the Jetboil Flash is just a little bit better in every single way. But it comes at a price. So it's an extra $100 and something, and you look, be clever, look for deals, look for price matches. I know I did to get this at the price that I did. I got a price match with Anaconda, who will beat it by 10%, which was really good. Try not to pay full price for it, but it is quite a good product, and I would recommend it. If you've got the money to spend, this is a good idea. If you don't have that money, you're not missing out on a lot by having the Campmaster. Yeah. But like I said, just a little bit better in every way. Just a little bit better. But again, if anyone knows where I can get a Jetboil Flash 1 litre cozy that's not camo, that seems like a silly idea, please let me know in the comments. I'd really appreciate it. Anyway, thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. It means a lot to the channel. And see you on the next one. Bye.